A story that I had highlighted earlier, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has reiterated the government's commitment to improving the quality of life and service delivery to all Kenyans. The president, who spoke when he toured the ongoing state projects in the capital, Nairobi, further dismissed critics of the ongoing projects, terming them as anti-development. Some of the projects the president toured are the 27.1-kilometer Nairobi Expressway and the rehabilitation works at Uhuru Park. And as Purity Museo reports, the president promised that Kenyans will start using the Nairobi Expressway from March 2022.
President Uhuru Kenyatta Thursday made an extensive inspection tour of the 27.1-kilometer Nairobi Expressway, which is currently 93% complete. The head of state saying that the speed and efficiency shown by the contractors was enough assurance that the road would be complete by early next year.
It is a proud moment for us as Kenyans as we are here today witnessing the laying of the last of these girders that are linking this new, which we will call our new superhighway, the Nairobi Expressway.
This is one of the links, which is 27 kilometers. We're also doing some other projects from Murorongo going all the way to Machakos Turnoff, a distance of 20 kilometers. After we finish this project to James Gishuru, 27 kilometers, there's another project which is 25 kilometers, taking us all the way to Rironi. And then from Rironi, Your Excellency, there are discussions to extend it all the way to Mau Summit.
President, who was accompanied by Infrastructure CS James Macharia and Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General Mohamed Badi, expressed satisfaction with the progress of the 8-lane elevated dual carriageway.
I do believe that within another 2 years, Nairobi will be a truly 21st century city, catering for its population in a positive manner and in a manner befitting our people.
After it's finished in March, people will be taking 20 minutes only from the airport all the way to James Gishuru.
The president took the opportunity to downplay critiques of his administration's ongoing development projects.
A lot of people have told us that our relationship with China is not beneficial. For those who say that, I request them, come. Let them see a project like this. Let them see the project that we have done in Lamu. Let them see the project that we've done to be able to reduce the cost of petroleum with the KOT in Kilindini and Mombasa. Let them see the various other projects and programs that have eased life for Kenyans. Our partnership with China is one that is mutually beneficial.
The head of state, who later toured the ongoing renovation works at the Uhuru Park, further defended the demolition of the Uhuru Park Pavilion, saying it was part of the government's plan to give Kenyans what they deserve best.
Wale ambao walikuwa wanasema sijui tumegrab Uhuru Park, sijui na Central Park, mpige picture wananchi waone kazi ile inaendelea huku jamani. Alright? Na hii yote ni kuboresha maisha ya Wakenya wetu.
Purity Museo, Prime Edition.
Now to matters COVID. Kenya's COVID-19 positive rate jumped to 32.5% Thursday's days to the climax of the festive season. According to the Ministry of Health Statistics, 3,746 people tested positive of the disease out of a sample size of 11,537 samples tested in the last 24 hours. Sadly, one patient succumbed to the disease, which is a late death reported after conducting facility record audits for December. Death toll now stands at 5,356 according to the Ministry of Health, and a total of 9,375,917 vaccines have so far been administered across the country. Now, moving on, still on matters COVID, the Ministry of Health, in partnership with Nairobi Metropolitan Services, Thursday undertook a mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign at Nairobi's Central District. Officials from the ministry calling on Kenyans who have not taken the jab to do so and help the country win the war against the pandemic.
Kenya's 10 million COVID vaccine target by the end of the year is still on course, and the Ministry of Health is now taking the jab close to the people. On Thursday, the mass vaccination exercise was undertaken at Kencom bus stage and Kenya National Archives. Kenyans were urged to make sure they receive the jab, since they will miss in-person government services if not vaccinated.
Ifikapo tarehe 21 utakuwa uwezi kuabiri gari, utakuweza kuwa upati services zozote kama hujapata hii chanjo. Kwa hivyo tunawapatia wananchi fursa ya kupata hii chanjo sasa.
According to Lilian Mutua, who is the head of health promotion at NMS, the Ministry of Health is more keen to vaccinate those who have not received a single dose or second dose before Christmas Day.
And for those who had received prior, we are giving them the second doses. The only other beauty is that for the age of people who are receiving COVID-19 vaccine, it has been stepped down to 15 years old. So between 15 to 18, they can still get their vaccine using their birth certificates.
Kenyans urge not to be selective on which vaccine they should take.
Unaweza pata yoyote. All the COVID vaccines are the same. They have quality and they are safe.
Those who benefited from the exercise calling on the government to take the vaccine closer to Kenyans.
Since wadungu unapata the environment wenye wanadeal na watu wengi hawajakuwa na any cases of maybe severe diseases ama anything, so kasema yeah, kaina work, let me just come and do it. And then when nimeona pia government imekuja na msimamo wa kuna services tunaweza kosa, so inabidi
kwa wale wajadunga mimi naweza kuadvise wadunge, maana hii corona iko, so inafaa wadungwe ndio ili waweze kufanya wengine wakuwe na morali ya kukuja.
Now when it is near us, you just pass by, you spare some little time, unandungo alafu unaenda zako. So this drive is the best.
Christmas festivity is full of a lot of merries and meet and greet. It's good for you to have your COVID-19 jab as you head into a Christmas destination to keep the virus at bay. Reporting for Prime Edition from Kencom, Nairobi County, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Thank you, Ruth, for that report. And now to politics, where ODM party leader Raila Odinga is calling on Kenyans to be wary of leaders over-promising things they cannot deliver. Speaking in Homa Bay County, Raila Odinga said he was the best candidate in 2022 to revamp the country's economy, promising that through his Azimio La Umoja movement, the country will be united as one. Zainab Said reports.
Speaking in Karachonyo in Homa Bay County, the ODM party leader has questioned the sanity of his competitors.
Kuna ile fisi ambaye amejivisha nguo ya kondoo anajaribu kuhadaa wa Kenya kusema ati mimi ni Mkristo. Kila Jumamosi, Jumapili ameingia kwa kanisa, mimi ni Mkristo. Huyo ni fisi.
The ODM leader asked Kenyans not to be swayed by leaders who do not have the country's interest at heart.
Wanajanganya wa Kenya na wanajaribu kuhadaa wa Kenya ati mambo ati chini juu, ati bottoms up. Hawa ni watu ambaye hawajui pale wanaotoka na kule wanataka kuelekea. Sisi tunasema sisi tuko na sera kamili, na yetu inakuja kupitia kwa mlango ya Azimio la Umoja.
Raila took a swipe at the bottom-up economic model being championed by the deputy president, saying it is meant to just benefit a few. Leaders who were present dismissed those claiming the ODM chief was a government project, saying they have nothing tangible to show politically.
I saw William Ruto somewhere saying that Raila Odinga is a state project. Having known Raila Odinga, and how he has fought for this country. Kenyans know Raila Odinga. Whose project can Raila Odinga be? Raila Odinga, people can be Raila Odinga's project, but Raila Odinga cannot be anybody's project.
For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Still in politics, where members of parliament allied to Deputy President William Ruto claimed the suspension of the Political Parties Amendment Bill of 2021 was a big win for Kenyans. The MPs who accompanied the Deputy President in Nakuru said they will not allow laws that undermine the rights of Kenyans to be passed unprocedurally.
A day after the National Assembly suspended the debate on Political Parties Amendment Bill, MPs allied to the Deputy President William Ruto now claim the proposed law seeks to curtail the fundamental rights of Kenyans. MPs who accompanied the Deputy President in Nakuru said those opposed to the bill were against the creation of an imperial registrar of political parties who has the power to decide if one is a member of a party or not.
We are not in competition of personalities. We are in competition of ideas for the betterment of this country. Hiyo headline ni sawa, lakini mkiandika tunataka mkumbuke kuandika kusema ya kwamba Kenyans have won round one. Because what we are trying to protect in the National Assembly is we are trying to kill imperial registrar of the political parties.
I also want to congratulate my colleagues here, because I see I'm the only one from the Senate, but I see you all here from the National Assembly, from a great job that you did yesterday. We love it when you stand up for the people, because when we walk around or we move around and we say we are here for the people, then you did that by action yesterday. We cannot allow laws that are brought without following the procedure.
Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika said proponents of the bill did not follow the right procedure, citing lack of public participation. The DP, who steered off politics, said Kenyans will soon enjoy universal health care coverage once the bill is signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta into law.
If there is one thing we must do as a matter of urgency, is to work the law, work the structures, and establish a universal health scheme. I know Parliament recently passed the law, the National Assembly. I think it has now gone through the Senate. It will shortly be signed by His Excellency the President into law, and then we will begin the journey. And hopefully, in the shortest time possible, possibly in the next couple of months, we should be able to establish a health insurance program that will make it possible for every Kenyan to access health care and not think about how they are going to pay. Because a majority of people delay going to hospital even today because they are unsure of how they are going to pay their hospital bills.
They spoke in Gata, Nakuru County during the burial of Ambassador Ken Osinde, the late Chief of Staff of the Office of Deputy President. Ruto eulogized Ambassador Osinde as an outstanding team leader who has left a huge gap in public service. Vishoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Now, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission is accusing the Magistrates and Judges Association of trying to use intimidation tactics to be awarded salary increment. SRC says the association is using the courts to its advantage to have its salary and remuneration reviewed against the spirit of the Constitution and has appealed a ruling by Justice Stephen Radido that accused it of being discriminatory for failing to take provisions for security allowances for the association, among other issues.
The Salaries and Remuneration Commission says it is opposed to the deconsolidation and itemization of salary structures being demanded by judicial officers, which it says will distort remuneration in the sector, and it's contrary to salary structure, design, principle, pensionable emoluments and labor market trends. SRC says while setting the consolidated pay structure for magistrates and Kathi's in 2013, it set the same for state officers in line with labor market survey. The commission said it has reviewed the non-practice allowance for judicial officers subject to availability of funds from 13,000 shillings to 20,000 shillings for judges and 10,000 shillings to 15,000 shillings for magistrates and Kathi's. SRC said the consolidated pay structure set in 2017 and December 2018 were aligned to the finding of the labor market salary survey and nothing much can be done. SRC has in the meantime appealed against a declaration issued in December by the court that had termed discriminatory move by the commission not to provide magistrates and Kathi's for security allowances and failure to review non-practicing allowances for the association, among other issues. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troinjue.
The International Police Organization, in conjunction with Medenta Africa, is undertaking a free medical clinic campaign targeting Moinli police officers across the country. Speaking at the Parliament Police Station in Nairobi, the director of the organization, Delano Kilu, said already 300 police officers have benefited from the free clinic, which targets about 1,000 officers before February next year.
Following President Uhuru Kenyatta's directive that National Police Service officers will be forced to be on duty this festive season to ensure Kenyans have peaceful festivities, International Police Organization, in collaboration with Medenta Africa, decided to roll out a free medical camp in a move that will ensure the police officers get proper medical attention.
This undertaking is an initiative together with IPO and Medenta Africa that shows that we care for our police officers, especially as we approach the festive season. We thought that it would be important that at least we provide a service where each police officer can discover their baseline health statistics.
According to the director for International Police Organization, Delano Kilu, police officers on many occasions are forgotten, yet they play a very critical role in securing the country.
These officers who had to leave station and had to go to a hospital, whether it's Mama Lucy or whether it is Kenyatta National Hospital or any of our public hospitals, the process would take much, much longer and would actually impact on their time when we need them to be at station, alert and active for the service to the community of Kenyans.
During the exercise, officers had their blood sugar tested, body mass index BMI, blood pressure and other ailments, including free consultation.
It also comes at a time when we see an increase in the rise of COVID cases in Kenya, and that means that we need to be also alert as to our health status, because we know that if anybody is suffering from high blood pressure or high blood sugar, these could be indicators that you are more susceptible or prone to the ravages of the pandemic.
Based on it's a critical time with the Omicron and all these viruses also coming in. Early detection is key. So I believe other facilities should also come in so that we can cover the entire mass together, rather than it will take for us single-handedly, it will take a lot of time. So other organizations should probably tie up with us or other organizations and then get to the field to do the same kind of treatments.
Chief Operating Officer for Medenta Africa, Dr. Nabil Dangal, say the exercise will be cascaded to other parts of the country.
We started this initiative because our group chairman, Mr. Kishan Singh Gehlot, he's more into all these kind of activities where we assist all the people, and this is one of the genres in which we wanted to capture the police in that picture. So these are some of the reasons that we tied up with the International Police Organization to facilitate the medical treatment of the men in blue.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
And now on to a story of a taxi driver who runs a children's home with 60 beneficiaries. What motivates Aswan Kizito? Brian Macau caught up with him in Kawangware, Nairobi.
By night, Aswan Kizito is a taxi driver, while during the day he plays the role of a father to 60 children at the Project of Hope Children's Center in Nairobi, Kawangware Estate. The center started in 2016 with Kizito's son, then aged 8. The boy is a special need child. Now at 13 years, Kizito's son is still using Pampers and on special diet, including regular therapy sessions. All this requires special budget. His situation depicts the reality when it comes to other 8 special kids at the children's center.
The idea generated from my son. Hope my son can come here. My son is Prince Samuel. Prince Samuel is cerebral palsy. He is now 13 years. He cannot sit properly. He cannot walk properly. He cannot walk, he cannot sit. The challenges of the special needs, how they can be taken care of. We also need physiotherapists. Now, the physiotherapist sometimes is very expensive, 500 shillings per session. You go to Kenyatta or you go to ABDK.
Derek is currently the oldest beneficiary at the Project of Hope Children's Center. He is now a Form 2 student in a nearby secondary school. An orphan, Derek was rescued from the streets.
Mimi nilikuja hapa 2015. Mimi ni orphan. Nilikuja hapa kama orphan na nikapatana na Swani, yeye ndo amenisaidia kwa chakula, mavazi, yani kila kitu amenisupport mpaka nikasoma mpaka class 8 nikamalizia hapa. Sasa niko secondary, bado ananisaidia kama analipia school fees.
Kizito runs the home with the help of his wife. He says his high times are when he walks in to spend some time with the children here.
We will not just have kids here who are school-going children just to be there. They have to go to school and they have to learn.
However, running the children's hope comes with some challenges.
The challenges here from food, we are leasing this place, and from the stationery, all the teachers here are volunteers. We don't pay them. So if a teacher comes here, and some of them are very nice, they are doing a very good job, but now they come and tell me, Pastor, I have to go because I've gotten a job. So I just have to release them. So as far as he was a good person or a female teacher or a male teacher, I just have to release them because financially we are not okay.
Kizito believes there is still more that the society can do to help the less privileged.
The government has come up with a very good program of Inua Jamii. And you find Inua Jamii is not to all. Not all of them are in Inua Jamii. Only some of them are in Inua Jamii. So if they can really come up and they put every child on that program, then it will be very nice. And if they can help me here in Kawangware, I build a good school for these children, I'll be good, I'll be happy, because that is my vision.
Children are an integral part of the society, and whatever issues they face has a ripple effect on the larger society. The question is, what is the government doing to help these children? What is the society doing to help these kids who have no one to go to?
Well, digital credit providers will now have to send you a 1-month notice before they send your name to the CRB. That and more coming after the break.
Kenya nchi yangu, Kenya maisha yangu, Kenya wajibu wangu. Sitakubali kamwe kuchochewa na mtu yoyote ili kuharibu mali au maisha ya Mkenya mwingine. Kenya mbele daima. Mimi kama youth, nchi yangu inanihitaji. Nikiwa mzalendo, nitaitumikia nchi yangu kwa nguvu na uwezo wangu wote. Mayouth ndo nguvu kazi ya nchi. Nguvu na ubunifu wetu ndo msingi wa maendeleo. Pamoja tujenge Kenya. Mimi kama youth nitailinda na nitaitumikia nchi yangu ipasavyo. Tuweke maisha ya Mkenya mbele. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na serikali ya Kenya. Do you know you could be seated there not knowing you're the newest millionaire in town? Want to know how? There are billions of unclaimed financial assets held by the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority in the form of security deposits, shares, long-forgotten bank savings, pension money, among others that are waiting for the rightful owners to claim them, and you might be one of them. Stop searching in the wrong places. Visit ufaa.go.ke or dial *361# and find out if there's any unclaimed cash and other financial assets in your name. Labda umeomoka na ujui. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Christmas itself, it's still on with the Next Meal family. I wish all Kenyans a happy Christmas and a prosperous 2022. God bless you.
Welcome back. Now it's time for business. Digital credit providers will now be required to give defaulting customers a 1-month notice before listing them on the Credit Reference Bureau. This is part of the new regulations that the Central Bank of Kenya has drafted to regulate the digital lending industry. The regulations also bar digital credit providers from sharing customers' data with third parties. The CBK has published the regulations a day when the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 is expected to come into force today.
Of disorder and public complaint, sobriety appears to be settling in the digital credit industry. This follows the enactment of the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 that puts digital lenders under the supervision of the Central Bank of Kenya.
So we've been putting it in place. We hope to have it sort of launched maybe in the second quarter, so April, let's say, of next year.
To guide the regulations, CBK has now published the draft Digital Credit Providers Regulations, which cover the licensing, governance and credit operations of online lenders. The regulations make it illegal for lenders to use threats, intimidation or violence when recovering their loans. Lenders will now be required to have at least one physical office with qualified employees before being issued with a license by CBK. The opening, relocation or closure of lenders' offices will require approval from the central bank. The draft regulations also compel lenders to put in place appropriate policies, procedures and systems to ensure the confidentiality of customer information and transaction. Any person who contravenes the provisions of the preceding regulation commits an offence and shall be liable upon conviction to a fine of 500,000 shillings or imprisonment for a term of 2 years or both. The CBK says these regulations and the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 seek to ensure that credit lenders are running a legitimate business that is backed by law that protects the lenders and their customers. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Regina, for that report. Now, Kenya has received 29 billion from the International Monetary Fund under the Extended Fund Facility for Budgetary Support. To access the fund, Kenya will have to undertake various reforms in fiscal programs, reform key state entities, and reduce the fiscal deficit to below 6%. IMF says Kenya continues to show great resilience despite major economic shocks caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Following the successful second review that ended last week, the International Monetary Fund Board has approved the disbursement of 29.2 billion shillings to support Kenya's budget-making process. The loan brings the total amount disbursed by IMF to 110.1 billion shillings. Within the 38th month period, Kenya is expected to receive financial support of $220 billion, which is equivalent to 305% of quarter to address debt vulnerabilities, economic shocks as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, enhance governance, strengthen the anti-corruption framework, address financial weaknesses in state-owned enterprises, and strengthen the monetary policy framework and support financial stability. IMF Deputy Managing Director Antoinette Asaye pointed out that Kenya's medium-term economic outlook remains positive. She, however, challenged the government to continue executing their multi-year fiscal consolidation plan to reduce debt vulnerabilities, create some fiscal space for the year 2021-2022 for emergency spending to face the drought in the north and emerging security needs, adding that the planned supplementary budget should also provide resources for expanding COVID-19 vaccinations and state-owned enterprises in line with program design. Saye further says though the COVID-19 vaccination drive has picked up in the second half of 2021, uncertainty and pandemic-related pressures will persist until vaccinations become widely available. Uncertainty also remains very high due to the upcoming 2022 elections, with medium-term risks tilted to the downside.
And now to agriculture, where most Irish potato farmers in Kenya face post-harvest losses due to market challenges for the highly perishable farm produce. To overcome these challenges, some small-scale traders have created an alternative market by processing the Irish potatoes in different types of flour, which is also a new form of value addition. Our reporter Wycliffe Okech interacted with some small-scale traders during the EAC Expo in Mwanza, Tanzania, and files the following report.
Julie Gashuki is a first-timer at the East African Community Expo, which was this year held in Mwanza, Tanzania. Julie, however, cannot hide her joy as she marvels at the market exposure and opportunity the expo has presented her.
The experience has been great. We've had lots of exposure. We've had lots of clients. We didn't expect this kind of surprise to be able to get to this market level. So we are very grateful for this opportunity. It has been great to network, to get to meet other people, and to meet buyers as well. They've been really impressed with the product, and we're great to enjoy this kind of exposure from here.
Julie and her colleagues process potatoes to raw and cooked flour.
This is something very different. We are doing flour. We have the raw and the cooked one. So that gives some bit of being new in the market, and the kind of reception we are getting, I would say it's great.
She says they drew the inspiration from the losses that Irish potato farmers in the country experienced during the harvest season.
So basically why we inspired this is to be able to create a different market for the potatoes produce, so that we can be able to reach to give the farmers market for their produce at the right price, because we actually intend to facilitate, to stabilize the market prices.
Much like Julie, Juliana John from Tanzania has come up with an innovative way of preserving sweet potatoes by cooking and drying them before packaging it for the market.
Hivi viazi hivi vilivyokaushwa hivi vinaweza vikakaa zaidi ya miaka 5. Haviharibiki wala havifanyeje, mradi tu umevitunza kwenye kifungashio sahihi na unaweka mahali sahihi ambapo hapana unyevunyevu. Vinakaa hata miaka 5.
Betty Maru from Kenya knows too well the value of addition process. In her case, she processes the avocado fruit into various types of oil to improve the value of the fruit.
We are extracting avocado oil through cold press. Tuna cold press to refine, so it's fresh from the avocado fruit. So hii fruit ya kwanza, hii mafuta ya kwanza ni ya kujipaka na kupaka mwili na ngozi. Hii ya pili ni ya kupika, inaitwa avocado oil, extra virgin avocado oil. Kutoka extra virgin avocado oil tunatengeneza mafuta ya salad, ya kuweka kwa salad na ya kufanya barbecue na pia ya kupika. Katika hii ya hii ya skin na nywele, unaweza tengeneza body cream na body lotion na shampoo.
The trio say the continued empowerment of micro, small and medium enterprises in the region presents the potential to spur the economy of EAC member states.
Waendelee kutupa more exposure, trade fairs ama just mikutano and trainings. Tunahitaji kuimprove this product. Na bila capacity building hatuwezi.
Kuna mikopo ya vikundi, lakini pia kuna mikopo ya mtu binafsi ambayo tunahitaji mtu binafsi watukopesha kwa mtu binafsi ili mimi kama mimi niinuke, maana hii ya kikundi kwa kweli inakuwa ndogo.
For Prime Edition, I am Wycliffe Okech.
As earnings from wheat and maize farming continue to reduce, farmers in parts of North Rift are steadily diversifying to high-value crops such as coffee and avocado. Though commercial avocado farming is relatively new, farmers say it is more profitable due to the ready market and low cost of production, as Benson Rioba reports on this week's edition of FarmWise.
The acreage under wheat in Uasin Gishu County, which is Kenya's key wheat belt, has reduced from 18,000 hectares to 16,000 hectares over the last 5 years. Farmers in the area are steadily substituting wheat and maize with avocado trees.
Mahindi sasa haina pesa, ni kidogo, na tena unapika kelele na serikali, mnasumbuana au sijui nini cereal. So afadhali avocado kwa sababu ni kitu export, unapata yako, unalipwa hapo na pesa ni nafuu.
Farmers say an acre under maize can fetch at most 40,000 shillings, while the same acreage under avocado earns one about 500,000 shillings every year.
Kwa miaka unafuna mara 4. Nikaona ni apatali kusinda mahindi. Mahindi unafuna once na unapata 50 bags ya mahindi. Nikaona avocado ni apatali.
Ukiangalia portion ya shamba yenye nimetumia ni almost a nega, but kupata kwa hiyo season 3 nikapata 200,000 kwa mwaka moja, then nikaona this thing is viable, inatosha, inasaidia mkulima.
With the recommended 7x7 spacing during planting, a farmer plants about 80 avocado trees in an acre, with the Hass variety tree producing about 150 pieces of fruits, while the Fuerte variety produces 5,000 pieces in a single harvest.
People are aware that avocado is a fruit that you can add to your daily intake, so for breakfast or with your lunch, and with the good fats of vitamin E, it's able to add value and into your diet.
Last year, 110,000 tons of avocado were produced in Kenya, which players feel is way below the country's potential.
We find that our exporters are just willing to ship regardless of the quality that the market requires. So we find that we are shipping too much, but what we get in return is too little. And that is now the narrative we need to change going forward, so that we get value for what we export.
Our avocado can mature when the other world suppliers don't have a crop. Why don't we supply? And I think so far we've seen good response in terms of avocado market in the world.
China is a key destination for Kenyan avocados, but a section of farmers now want the Asian nation to relax some of the rules so that they can easily access the market.
And Mexico, 99% is not frozen. Mexico, Chile, Peru, South Africa, nobody exports frozen avocados. Frozen avocados is low quality fruit. The way to go is fresh avocados.
Experts are advising farmers to practice proper avocado husbandry and desist from immature crop harvesting, especially for avocados destined for the export market.
Even as much as we send our avocado for export, the end user, that is the person consuming the avocado, would really like to know, where is this avocado coming from? So with the roadside nurseries in our country or wherever we are, we've tried to discourage them, and we want them to be done away with, because It's not clean planting material.
Benson Rioba reporting for FarmWise.
The electioneering period next year might have a little impact on the economy. Mentoria Economics Chief Economist Ken Gishanga says the country is likely to focus on economic recovery and wading through COVID-19, making the general election impact minimal on the overall GDP.
As the year comes to an end, Kenya's economy has been on an upward trend following recovery from COVID-19 shocks. IMF says by October this year, the economy had grown 5.6%. Mentoria Economics Chief Economist Ken Gishinga says the cyclical dip in the economy due to elections is not likely to be witnessed next year because Kenyans will not want to waste another year of economic growth.
I don't expect the elections to be a major disruptive event. I think the country has lost 2 years worth of economic activity, and it's going to be very unlikely that people will want to have another third year of the same. So we might not see the previous dramas we've seen in the previous years. I think there's a lot more focus on just people trying to restore their lives back to familiar territory.
The government has various projects in implementation stage. Among them is the Nairobi Expressway that is expected to be completed by March next year. A slight slowdown is, however, projected as most investments will happen before August when elections are slated.
I expect to see a lot more economic activity before the elections. If you look at the stock market, there's always a big rally before the elections because of that uncertainty.
The cash to be spent by aspirants during campaigns could have an impact on the economy.
The big problem has always been the crowding out effect, because to finance those budgets, the government has had to borrow. The impact for that is it means you crowd out the private sector. So money that could have gone to ordinary businesses do not get there.
Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Back to business, and we have Tech One, which is becoming a favorite. And most Kenyans in emergency situations have for a long time been unable to access the vital services at their time of need. However, more Kenyans are now turning to real-time mobile-based response solutions to save time during life-threatening emergencies. Tonight on Tech One, Alan Oko highlights how basic mobile-based ambulance services can save lives during disasters.
The Kenya Emergency Medical Care Strategy 2020 to 2025 by the Ministry of Health indicates that there is no current data on the specific number and location of public ambulances and emergency departments across the country or their capacity in terms of human and physical resources to handle medical emergencies. The ministry says that there is a need to map these emergency medical care services to ensure that there is 100% geographical coverage. Innovators say that this is where technology can be engaged to streamline Kenya's emergency care services.
We have ambulances in the country, have fire trucks in the country. So we bring together all these providers and we provide you one hotline that you can call and get emergency response of any kind. So you want an ambulance, you can call a phone number,
you want a security vehicle, you can call this one phone number.
In Kenya, the wait time for emergency response can extend to hours, and users say that you are most likely to have dialed multiple numbers and at times for you to get help. When faced with a medical emergency such as a stroke or a car accident, this waiting can be fatal.
Because of this, around 3,000 plus lives are lost every year in Kenya alone due to road traffic accidents. And if you know anything about medicine, and also it's kind of obvious, catering to a traumatic injury in the fastest way possible is the best way to save a life.
Platforms like Rescue.co are seeking to solve this problem. Rescue.co, an emergency response platform based in Nairobi, seeks to cut the waiting time for emergency services to just a few minutes.
So you get into an accident, or somebody gets into an accident. So you call FLAIR, or you press an emergency SOS button. Then it comes into a dispatch. Dispatch triages the case. You explain it's an accident at this place, blah blah. We can also access your location via your phone. Of course, you give permission. Then our dispatch center finds the closest ambulance. Then our dispatch center automatically routes the ambulance to your scene using just routing algorithms.
Through a single number, those in need access the dispatch center, where care is provided over the phone, and the nearest ambulance is dispatched, powered by technology called FLAIR, the Uber of ambulances.
So on our platform at the moment, we are currently tracking over 100 vehicles. So this is ambulances, fire trucks, tow trucks, water bowsers, security vehicles. And on top of the 100 that we track live, we have a database of more than 500 that we know their approximate location.
For companies like Rescue.co, issues such as the COVID-19 pandemic became an opportunity for action and innovation. Lanauko, Take One.
Now, youth groups in Kakamega County have been equipped with aquaculture skills in a bid to improve production. The project, dubbed Aquaculture Business Development Program, targets more youth with aquaculture farming skills and scout marketing for the produce. Here are the details of this in our corporate briefs.
The low number of youth in agriculture, particularly in aquaculture, has been a matter of concern for the government. Targeted youth are being urged to form or join groups and invest in activities that support fish production and value addition such as fish feed formulation and fingerlings hatchery through accessing grants offered through the project. The Aquaculture Business Development Program is targeting 2,000 fish farmers in Kakamega County.
Youths have different energy levels, have different technological know-how, and we expect them to support the older farmers who are doing production to do various off-farm activities under aquaculture.
Meanwhile, small-scale tea farmers supplying their green leaf to Momul Tea Factory in Kericho County have approved construction of a new satellite factory at Itibet in Kiptere Zone. Construction of the 600 million shilling factory will be financed by funds collected from tea farmers since 2013.
Mwishowe chairman wa hiyo board of directors akatoa OAOB ya kusoma vile pesa inapatikana kutoka kwa different zones.
Finally, poultry farmers in Kakamega County have been asked to join cooperatives to enjoy the economies of scale that would help them reduce the cost of production and maximize earnings. The county officials say SACCOs would make it easier to offer subsidies, support the farmers access new markets, and strengthen the poultry value chain.
Ulikuwa unaona mtu akishafanya ukulima wa kuku mwenyewe ndiye alikuwa anatafuta market. Lakini sasa tukiwa na hizi mpango na watu wakuje pamoja, ndio sasa tunataka tunafanya research ile ya kutusaidia tujue market gani inataka kuku za aina gani.
Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Hibak Said.
I can see Karen Kibet is getting ready for sports. She will be coming up shortly after the business international stories. Well, the United Kingdom's hospitality industry is experiencing millions of cancellations as COVID-19 cases surge to record high, with many people choosing to stay away from busy pubs and restaurants. Following advice from England's Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty to be cautious, many consumers are choosing not to socialize ahead of Christmas. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the borders.
Christmas should be peak season for UK's bars, pubs and restaurants, but pubs are facing disaster, with potential risk of going out of business. The British Beer and Pub Association says there were 3 million cancelled bookings in the second week of December alone. Pubs in London Soho would normally be packed on the last weekend before Christmas, but now most are quiet and some have closed their doors. The guidance from the government to limit social interactions and shift to working from home has put the hospitality industry into lockdown, pushing down sales in pubs in parts of London by as much as 70% compared to the same time in 2019. The UK confirmed 91,743 new cases in the last 24-hour period, bringing the total caseload to 11.45 million. Meanwhile, Turkey's treasury has announced a new protection scheme against foreign currency fluctuations after the lira tumbled to 13 to $1 US, which is an all-time low against the US dollar. According to the policy, the central bank will publish the US dollar buying rate daily at 11 a.m. local time to calculate the exchange rate differential. People can then choose between different deposits accounts with a maturity of 3, 6, 9 or 12 months. If the yield remains below the exchange rate, difference between the account opening and its maturity date, despite the earned interest, the ministry will compensate the depositor. Finally, US President Joe Biden has said government measures to tackle global supply chain issues have averted a pre-Christmas crisis. President Biden was speaking ahead of a meeting with officials and company bosses, including transportation giant FedEx. In June, he created a task force to address rising prices and shortages of goods caused by the pandemic. However, some business owners and industry experts say American farms are still facing supply problems. President Biden says that shop shelves are stocked at 90% of their full capacity and deliveries are happening at a faster rate than before the pandemic.
Sometimes, there isn't a worse enemy than your own heart. A rebellious heart.
Forget about her. She's married now.
She's not happy. I can't see her like this. A guilty heart.
I can't take it anymore, Mama.
I'm sorry I forced you to marry Damien.
A determined heart. I still love you. Let's run away.
But what about my children?
Lying heart.
It's the season of sharing and making merry, and your favorite TV station is here to make your Christmas more memorable. Watch KBC Channel 1 this holiday season and stand a chance of winning thousands of shillings in cash prizes and shopping vouchers. Look out for our trivia questions and get rewarded for answering the questions correctly. KBC Channel 1, giving you 1,000 reasons to be happy.
Life is precious. Do not gamble with it. Say no to bad driving. Treat yourself.
Oh yes, and that's
town who was found dead.
We're emailing you something big.
We absolutely need to get out of here.
If only we got that tape.
You won't and will never bring me down.
Usikubali haraka iwe ndo mwisho wako. This message is brought to you by the Government of Kenya.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the female rally driver Maxime Wahome has been nominated in the category of the Sportswoman of the Year for this year's Sports Personality of the Year award slated for Kakamega County on January 19th. Wahome, who was being navigated by Lynette Ayuko on the first season she joined rallying, won the all-ladies crew trophy during the Mountain Gorilla Rally in Rwanda, a leg of the grueling Africa Rally Championships, where she was 6th overall. She was 7th overall during the Ramisi Rally, where she won the Division 2 category, and she was ranked 14 overall at the first East African Mini Classic. Wahome, who made strides in her debut year as a rally driver, will, however, face stiff competition for the award from world and Olympic 1500-meter champion Faith Kipyegon, Olympic marathon champion Perez Jepchirchir, Vihiga Queens player Gentrix Shikangwa, tennis player Angela Okutoi, and football star Sharon Chepchumba. Now to matters boxing. Kenya's Rayton Okwiri's WBO Africa Super Welterweight title fight against Ghana's Patrick Olotei, scheduled for this Sunday in Accra, has been put off indefinitely. Olotei is reported to have injured his shoulder during a training session, and he is unable to face Okwiri. The two boxers will vie for Royal Boxing Organization Light Flyweight title. RBO is a sanctioning body based in Luxembourg, founded in 2017, and sanctions world, intercontinental and Africa titles. Kenya number 2 wheelchair tennis player Shaban Matano, who was nominated to vie for the 2021 Malkia Tribute Awards, has said he will continue advocating for persons with disabilities. Matano, who was nominated alongside Naomi Wafula from Safaricom, hailed the Malkia Tribute Awards, which was started in 2012 by award-winning singer Daddy Owen to pay tribute to persons with disabilities making a difference in Kenya.
I'm a professional wheelchair tennis player, currently number 2 in Kenya and number 364 in the world. In wheelchair tennis, we are allowed 2 bounces, unlike the normal tennis, which is only 1 bounce. I started playing in 2013. Health-wise, it has kept me fit. I also get to travel a lot, meet different people, different cultures. Some of my highlights this year was going to France and playing against experienced players and even won a match. You know, that really made me so happy, and it has encouraged me to work harder. I want to inspire young people living with disability to do sports for their betterment of their health, and also it's a career.
And finally, the Premier League has been postponed. Liverpool's game against Leeds United and the match between Wolves and Watford because of coronavirus. Both games were scheduled for Sunday, 26th December, but have been called off after requests from Leeds and Watford. Meanwhile, Arsenal will face Liverpool in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, while Chelsea will meet Tottenham. Both semi-finals are scheduled to take place over 2 legs, with the final set for Wembley on 27th February.
Chelsea reached their third major semi-final in 11 months under Thomas Tuchel after beating Brentford 2-0.
Pontus Jansson, Chelsea lead the quarter-final.
And that's on. Liverpool came back from 2 goals down to draw with Leicester City 3-3 and win on penalties.
That's another ball for Daka. And Vardy is going at pace, and there he is to make it 2.
Tottenham moved into the semi-finals as they edged West Ham 2-1 in a thrilling quarter-final tie.
Bergwijn again looking to wriggle his way into the penalty area, and he's still going. Lucas Moura!
And that's your sports for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow on Easy Friday with more sports stories. Do have yourself a peaceful night. My name is Karen Kibet, but the broadcast is not yet over as I do hand you back to Cynthia Nyamai.
Well, thank you, Karen Kibet. I'm just looking at some of your comments and feedback. Kamara Ann from all the way in Uganda, and also we have Johnston Macau, who were talking about the avocado story, asking about the pricing. You can have a look at our website. We do have those details and even more stories on agriculture for you. And also Ann Lea and also Kamau once here in Nairobi, talking about the express highway, and they cannot wait for the government to open up. Remember, we had that story. The president says the express highway will be opened next year in March 2022. Well, that's it for tonight. From me and the rest of the team, we wish you a good night.
Of your time.
Where Tito? Time is money.
Beautiful.
Mila on the wall. Who is the beautiful among them all?
Yes, and that's me.
Don't worry. If I am elected as the school president, I will make sure there is a kids playground for those of who have kids.
Mimi na nani? Hebu nitoe kwa hiyo hesabu kabisa.
And that leader is none other than Bosila here. Bosila for president. Why Tito for president? Bosila for president. Why Tito for president? Bosila for president. Bosila for president. Bosila for president.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Kupata skiza tune hii ya mshauri wa mwaka wako, bonyeza *811*816#.
Kila kizaliwacho huja na heri, kila kizaliwacho huja na baraka, mwanga na matumaini.